Hello everybody, this is Sharon and I have a mini album I wanted to share with you guys. I just got through this mini album and I do have a tutorial on it. So if you're interested in making one similar to it or just like it, just stay tuned for the tutorial. It'll be at the end of this video. And it measures 8.5 by 6.5. It has a 4.5 inch spine and that's the way the back of it looks. I tried to make this mini album as simple as I could. So if some people, that had never made very many wanted to try it, it would be easier. I used very few die cuts, and these are all flowers from Prima. So we'll go ahead and get started, and you can see if you would like to make it or not. But anyway, this is a Prima frame. I've just layered some pearls here. All these flowers are from Prima. I put a little bow here with some bling in it right there. I have some beads with some appliques in the back. I have some glass glitter. I think I've already said that, from Renee Bouquets. And this beautiful butterfly. That's from her shop too, and it's really pretty and sparkly. And so is the glass glitter. It's really pretty. I cut out some of the paper collection and just kind of layered it around in different places. It had some beautiful flowers on it. I thought it was really pretty, so I wanted to put that there. And then we'll just open it up and go ahead and get started. This one, this page right here just has a few flowers here. My little bead fell off. I have to glue that back on. This opens up, and you could put a picture here or here. You could journal here. You could journal here and put your picture here. And then that closes back with a magnet. You have 3 tags that are back here that you could put some smaller pictures on. I left the back of it blank, so you could journal on that if you wanted to. This page over here has some more tags on it. So maybe 4 by 6 and 3 by 5s. And it just slides back down in there. I have a little tag right here that you could put a small picture on or journal. On the back of that, it just slides down in this little area. I have a pretty little flower cluster here, and this also has a lace bow on it, as you can see. Some more of the blings and applique right there, really pretty. I also used some washi tape and put around the edges that has some gold on it. I thought this was really pretty with this lady in the background. Is that not beautiful paper? Love it. So pretty. On this page right here, I have some more tags that are just slid down in here. And then some more up here. This is a really large tag here. So you have several tags. Also have another little tag with a punch I have, and put a little ribbon bow. And then we have a little envelope here that you can put some little things down in there if you wanted to. This closes with Velcro. Have some more of that pretty washi tape, another flower arrangement with some pearls, and some of that applique in the back. This page over here has some more of that pretty washi tape, another flower arrangement here with some pearls. This came from the paper collection. This flips up and you have a place here for photos. Here, and it opens up. You have a place here you could journal. And then you have a couple more tags here. And you can also put pictures here. These 2 pages are just alike. They're both diagonal pages. I did another flower cluster with the beautiful applique in the back and the pearls. A couple more, a few more photo mats are there. I ended up having to use 2 paper collections. One of them is the Love Notes by Prima, and the other one is Cherry Blossoms, because I ran out of papers. But I thought they both went together really pretty. So I have these photo mats here. Another pretty paper flower grouping down here, and some more of the applique with some pearls in there. And this page has some more photo mats. And some more of that pretty washi tape. Another beautiful flower arrangement down here with some applique and pearls. This page over here has another beautiful flower flower arrangement and some washi tape here. This flips up. You have a beautiful place here, 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 and here that you could put pictures anyhow you wanted to do those. And this page over here, I just left it kind of blank. I thought you could put a picture here, journal up here. I thought that would be really pretty to do that like that. And then over here you have a waterfall. This came from the paper collection. Another flower arrangement here with that washi tape. And then it just opens here, here, and then you have your waterfall in the middle here. You could do 14 pictures here. Or actually you could do 15 because in the back there's a place right here too you could do them. So you have lots of room right there for pictures. So I hope you guys like it, and if you have any questions, just let me know. Like I said, if you want to watch the tutorial on it, it'll be right after this video. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye. Hello everybody, this is Sharon, and I have a tutorial here I wanted to share with you guys. These are some of the things that I'm going to be using the paper collection. This right here is the 110-pound cardstock that I buy at Michael's. I do my pages with that, and so you can see where I wrote that out. And then this is the 65-pound weight that I use. I did end up using 2 paper collections. Let me go over this with you. This is 8 1/4 by 6 1/4, and you'll need 10 of these, and that is the heavyweight 110-pound cardstock. And then you'll also need 10 sheets of your design paper, and it is 8 by 6, so you'll need 10 of those just to start off with. Those are the measurements that I use. It's just like a little cheat sheet, and I use that to kind of go by as I'm doing my mini albums. These right here are the different kind of glues that I use, and I really like the Fabri-Tac. It will not warp your paper if you glue 2 pieces of paper together. And I use the other one for detail gluings. So we're going to start with this one, and the first page that we're going to be creating is a horizontal pocket page. So like I said, the design paper is 8 by 6, and then the little white strips of cardstock, most of them are just some scraps that I have left. You really don't have to have a particular measurement, just as long as it'll wrap around your page and it's tall enough. So, you know, whatever you like, you can just use that for that. And then after you wrap it around your page, then you'll just add your design paper to the front of that. And then after you do that, then you're just going to glue your design paper to your white cardstock, which is your base page, you know, from the first 10 sheets that I was sharing with you guys. So you'll just adhere that to that, and I'll show you that just in a minute. But like I was saying earlier, I ended up having to use 2 different paper collections. I did use the Love Notes from Prima. That's what most of it is, and I ran out of that paper, and I ended up having to use some of the Prima Cherry Blossoms. So I do have that in here as well. So like I said before in any of my videos, you know, if you have any questions about anything, feel free to ask me. I was going to do like the first part of it where I'm doing mostly like the base pages. I was going to do the voiceover for that because I can speed that up and keep the video from being so long. And so that's why the first part of it's like that. The rest of it, after about the 40-minute time limit or whatever, after that I am talking and going over things really slowly with you guys, as far as making the gussets for the mini album and the binding for the mini album. I just kind of go over that slowly because that can be confusing. And but this part right here is really simple. It's basically just kind of measuring what you want it, you know, the height for your pocket that you want it to be, and then I just lay my design paper over it from the scraps that I have left and mark it with a pencil. So I really don't do a whole lot of measuring. If you do want to measure it, you could always cut everything down 1/4 of an inch smaller than what you use. For example, the white cardstock, when you add the design paper, you could do that 1/4 of an inch smaller if you wanted to. So I'm just going to adhere this to this, and that's really basically all that this page is. I do embellish it later on. I always build all of my pages first, the first 10 of them. Then I go back and I add my tags. I usually use scrap paper for that. If I want like a 5x7 or 4x6 photo mat, I will cut that, with the paper. But for a lot of the smaller ones, the smaller photo mats, I just use scrap paper for that. So that's basically page 1. I tried to make this mini album really, really simple in case anybody wanted to make it along with me, or maybe some newbies that hasn't made that many mini albums before. So I did try to make it really simple. Now we're going to be working on page 2 right here, and this is going to be a vertical pocket page, which is very simple. It's basically the same thing as the horizontal. You just put the paper up and down instead of across. And I do have the measurements on here. Like I said, you just got to make sure it's wide enough or tall enough to go around where you can wrap it around. And then the width of it, you just make that whatever you want it to be. And like I said, most of these, I just use scrap paper. And basically you do those the same way. You're going to wrap it around, score it so it'll be, have the creases there. I kind of pull it up, and then I put the score tape across the bottom, and just basically do it like that, and glue it down. Now I will tell you a couple of tips that I've learned making mini albums over the years. When you embellish it, you always want to kind of make sure, like if you want to embellish it with flowers and you have page 1 and page 2 that's going to be facing each other when the mini album is closed, you would probably want to put like your flowers on page 1 like at the bottom, and on page 2 at the top. You don't really, or this is just my personal opinion, I really don't like to have flowers touching each other when the pages are closed, so I try to do those opposites, whether it's at the top and the bottom on each page, or just have it in different places. That's all I'm saying. So that's a little tip that I try to do in this mini album, and I go over that when I get to the embellishment stage. I kind of go over that with you, more. But like I said, this is just a horizontal pocket. You can just put photo mats in here. You can embellish it after you get your papers on there. And like I said before, I just do the base pages first. Then after I get all 10 of my base pages done, then I add the tags from the leftover paper. I do have some that I cut out like 4x6 sheets of paper, 5x7, so you have bigger photo mats. I put those in there. After I get through doing all the tags for all 10 pages, then I go back and I add my embellishments, whether it's flowers, you can do chipboard pieces, wood, laces and trims. I do all of that next. And then basically after I get all of it embellished like I want it, that's when I'm going to do my gussets. I measure, how, like page 1 and 2, when they're closed, the width, I guess I'm trying to say. So I'll know what to make each gusset for each page. In other words, when I make my gussets, I don't have like a 1/2 inch for each page. I measure it for the page that I'm using for. I hope that makes sense. You'll see that if you continue to watch this video later on. But so that's basically it. I'm just showing right here where that's a pocket, and that's page 2. And so on page 3, which is the next one, I get my design paper out again, and it will be a flip fold with a pocket. That's the measurements of my pocket, the first pocket that I'm going to be using. And like I said before, it doesn't have to be the same measurements, just as long as it's wide enough to wrap around your paper like this right here, so you can put your glue on there, and then you just make it as tall as you want your pocket to be. It doesn't have to be the same as mine. So that's what I'm doing here, just wrapping around, and I'm going to slide it up. I'm going to put my score tape on the bottom, and that will just adhere it to the bottom, so my tags and stuff, when I get them in my pocket, it won't slide out the bottom of the pocket. So, and this does, you know, kind of take some time to do this, but this mini album I did do really fast because I only used just a paper and very, very few die cuts and punches. To me, personally, that's where it takes so much time when you're running back and forth to your die cutting machine, then you having to die cut it and then get the paper out. If you have an intricate die, you have to get the paper out of the die, and it just takes a lot of time to use die cuts. Punches are not so bad, but die cuts are. So this is going to be my next pocket. Like I said, this is going to be a flip fold with pockets. Or actually, this is going to be the flip right here. We just did the pocket. So you're just going to put it on there. And basically the same thing. After you get that straight like you want it, you hold it really tight. And then you can adhere your glue to the back of that. You don't want to move your page after you turn it over. If you do, just redo it because it can be off-centered. And so I just make sure I hold it really tight when I turn it over like that to adhere the glue. And then this right here is going to be, let's see, this is going to be the top flap, I think. That'll come down from the top. So you're going to score it at 1/2 inch and 3/4 at the top up there, because you're going to have a little gusset on that. Sometimes when you adhere pictures, it makes it thicker. So I do allow some gussets on some of these pages, just so when you get your pictures in there and you fold that down, it will still close and your magnet will still work. Because on this one you will be using a magnet as well. And you're going to fold that up when you get ready to adhere it to your paper. You want your gusset to be on the outside of that, not folded back behind. And then you just kind of line it up as straight as you can get it and fold that down where your gusset's, like I said, on the front. And then you're just going to hold that down really tight, and then you're going to glue that. So it looks like that. You just push it up after you get it glued like where you want it, and then you're going to add a magnet right here later on. And a magnet goes also on the back, so it will have something to adhere to. You have a pocket there. There's your flip. You have 2 flips on this one. You want to make sure you have that straight before you put your magnet on the back, because after you glue your magnet down, that's the way it's going to look every time. So I hold that tight, and I just take a magnet, lay it up there so I can see where it's going to stick. Then I just take my glue and pull that magnet back just over a little bit, glue it down, and then the magnet will just jump right back over there on it. That's basically all you have to do. You know, you adhere your paper down, and then you would take this and glue it back down to your base page, which is your white 110-pound cardstock. And on these pages that I'm gluing down, like I said, I don't measure these. I just lay the design paper down over the white cardstock. I take a pencil after I see where I want it to look, and I just cut it out like that. And because I just want a very little fine white line around the edge there. So it's probably like an 1/8 shorter than the white cardstock is, the design paper is. And then you're going to take that, after you get all your paper adhered, and glue it to your base page, which is your 110-pound cardstock. And that would be your page 3. I'm just mashing down the glue really good, trying to get it in there really good so it'll stick to my base page. And this is page 3, like I said. And I do change these pages around a little bit later on when I get ready to adhere them to my gussets. So if you do want to do this video, you might want to watch the whole video so you can see what I actually did. And then you can come back and watch how to do it, the tutorial part of it. This is page 4, and it's going to be a horizontal double pocket. And but like I said before, I do change some of the first ones around because after I adhered my flowers, I don't like my flowers to be close to the gusset of the book. I like for them to be closest to the outside of the book. And if I would have left them like that, it would have been to the inside of the book, closest to the gusset, and I didn't want that because it does make your book buck open further. So I do try to do the biggest embellishments, no matter what they are, on the outside of the pages, closest to the outside and not to the inside. Hope that makes sense. And so basically it's all like this. As far as your pocket pages, I just wrap my white cardstock around the design paper, glue it, and then I adhere the design paper to the white cardstock. In this case, you're going to have 2 of them, 2 pockets. So I'm going to go ahead and do that first. But it's basically pretty simple. It gets kind of complicated when you start doing a lot of flip flows. To me, that's the most complicated part. Pockets are very simple to me. So I'm just going to adhere that glue down there, that score tape. Pull that off so I can slide that down and it'll keep my tags from falling out the bottom. And then I'm going to adhere my paper to those and glue the backs down. And this is how it turned out. I have 2 pockets there. I did use some washi tape there, and I go back later and add in some more washi tape to that top pocket. And I just put the washi tape on white cardstock, and then I cut it out to the size I need it. Now sometimes I do use just the washi tape without putting it on the cardstock, but in this case right here I actually did add it to the cardstock. And so I'm just going to glue that page to my base page, the 110-pound cardstock, and that will be your page 4. Okay, for page 5, you're going to have 2 diagonal pages, page 5 and 6. And I just took a piece of white cardstock that I had left and just cut it down to those sizes there. Actually, it's just cut in half. And put my washi tape on there, adhered those down, and put the pattern paper over the top of that. Glued it down. sometimes the washi tape can be kind of aggravating. It took me a few times to get it straight, and but after, I think it looks really pretty when you put it on there. I just like the way it looks. And this paper, I think if you buy the 12 by 12, it does have some gold in it, but the one I used is actually the 8.5 by, I don't remember. It's bigger than the 6 by 6 though. And like I said before, I just measure that cardstock on the design paper with a pencil. Not really any measurements to that. And then I just adhere that down. So now I'm just going to adhere this down to my white cardstock, and for page 5 and 6, and that will be for both of those. And I think I'm just going to let some music play because it's pretty self-explanatory. If you guys have any questions, you can just let me know. And like I said, I'll be back more towards the end of the video when I get ready to do the gussets and the binding, because that is a little bit harder. So, like I said, I'm going to let some music play, and I will be back in a little bit. Now this one right here can be a little bit more confusing. This is a vertical and horizontal double flip fold. So I have the measurements and everything on here, so if you guys need to, look at those, that's fine, because this would be kind of confusing. But I just wanted to add a little bit more to it instead of just the same pocket pages. But pretty much show you on here how to do it. And like I said before, if you have any questions, you can just let me know. You just mostly have to make sure that you get your paper in the right place. Hold it down really tight when you flip it over like that to glue it, because you want it to be in the right place when you glue it down. But basically after that, it's pretty simple. Your gusset for the top page is obviously going to be wider than the other ones. I think this is like 1/4 of an inch right here, and then the bottom page is like 5/8 of an inch. But I have all that on there, so I'm just gonna let you guys check this out, and I will be back in a little bit. Now page 10 is your waterfall page, so you might need to follow this pretty closely. You will need 7 of the white cardstock and 14 of those of the design paper to go on your white cardstock, and the 7 is your little waterfall. So you might want to follow, like I said, this one closely so you can see how to do it. It's not really that hard, but if it's your first time, it might be a little bit harder. So basically, you're just going to put your glue on the back of your design paper and glue it to your white cardstock that you've already scored at 1/2 inch. And I hope you guys were able to get the measurements there before I covered them up. Anyway, after you do all of that, you are going to adhere your waterfall pages to your design paper, and you start from the top. I don't measure that, I just eyeball it, but you do want to make sure that you get that straight, because if you don't get the first one straight, then the rest of them that follow will not be straight. And you do have a little bit of time to adjust it if you use this kind of glue. It doesn't dry right away, so you can kind of move it around and make sure you get it right. And so you're just going to lay all 7 of those together, and I will show you how to do that. So that's kind of how that part turned out. Just to hear all those together, kind of keep them straight. Here's the measurements for the flap that's going to go on the top, and then the next one will be for the one that's going to go on the bottom. You can see that there is like a 1/4 of an inch gusset on that, and there's like a 5/8 of an inch is where you're going to score that one. So these are like I said, mostly the base pages. Kind of decorating them with the papers. No embellishments or anything like that, but the next part will be the embellishments. So I'm just going to go and let some music play. I will be back to show you guys how I embellish it with the flowers and how it looks. I don't think I actually go over each step with embellishments, add flowers and things like that, but I will do the gussets and the binding all with you guys, because there's so many different ways you can embellish a mini album, and you might not like flowers, so I just didn't include that in part of this tutorial. So just continue watching, and I'll play a little bit more music. Okay, I think the last time I talked with you guys, I had just put all the papers together. So I went ahead and put the paper on there, which was the Cherry Blossoms from Prima and Love Story from Prima. I had to use both of those paper packs, so I almost ran out. So I just wanted to show you how they look each page after I got everything on them. And I went ahead and made the tags. I think I had already showed you guys the tape that I used, the washi tape. I made this little booklet right here that opens. Just put a little piece of applique here and flowers, and it just opens like this. And you could journal here, or you could put your pictures here. And then I tied in that washi tape again there. So I'm just going to go quickly over this and just show you how it turned out. This is page 1, and when I mean page 1, this is a mini album that I've already done. Page 1 is this page. This is page 1, page 2, and so on. And then I call the front and back covers the covers, so I don't count them as pages. So I mean, my mini albums that I do have 10 pages in them. So this is page 1. This is how page 2 turned out. I just did some flowers. I did some more applique. I did some little beads in here, and that's basically all. Put the tags in here. So that's page 2, and they're all practically the same thing. I did the tags like I said. Added some flowers, some beads here, applique that goes in the back. It's really pretty and shimmery. And then this is page 4, and I did have to change page 3 and 4 around, because the flowers, when I get them in my book, I don't like the pages will be like this, and I don't like the flowers to be here, and that's the way I was going to have to do them if I left pages 3 and 4 like they were. So this was page 4. I changed it to 3, so I don't know if that really makes a difference to anybody, but I just wanted to let you guys know I did do that. Then this was page 3 at one time, and I changed it to 4. So that's how, the way it looks. I just layered some more other flowers there, and I put some tags in here. And I didn't really want to go over that part with you guys, because there's so many different ways that you can do this. These are the next 2 pages, which is 5 and 6. And like I said, when they go together, they'd be like this. So you try to kind of make your flowers, if you're going to have them up here on this page, you want them at the bottom on this page. Or if you're going to have them down here on this page, you want them at the top, because when they close, you don't want those flowers hitting each other, or it will really make your book bulky. You see, that's how they'll be. So these are a little bit above these when they be in the book. I hope that makes sense. These are page 6, 7, and 8. I'm sorry. This is 7 and this is 8. And like I said before, I just mostly just did the tags, and I did the little flower clusters. I added some, a little pearl to give it some movement there. And did some pearl trim here, some more flowers. And like I said, these flowers won't touch. These are up above these. So that's 7 and 8. And then you have 9 and 10. Did another flower cluster with the pearls, the applique, same thing over here. And then this one is, your waterfall page. So it looks like that. But I want to go over that with you guys. And the way I decide about my binding is I make a little sheet of paper for my pages. It has page 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8, and 9 and 10 for each page. And so I'm just going to lay that to the side. I take page 1 and 2 and I put them together, and I measure how far of a gap I have on the side. Let me see if I can turn it this way. And you see that little gap right there? So I just take a ruler, and Terry from Terry's Scrapbooks has a tutorial on this. This is not my idea. I got this from her. So I do all of my pages first, and then I go back and put them together like this, and I measure. It's because when I do a mini album, let me show you with this one if I can, so it makes a little bit of sense. Like this gusset right here in this mini album is a whole inch from here to here, because there's so much room, this takes up so much room here. And then this one right here is only a ½ inch. So that's why I do my pages first, because each gusset is made for each page. And that's a ½ inch, and that's another whole inch, because this page was so thick. And then this one is, looks like 3/4 of an inch. So that's the way I do mine, and that's why I measure each page. So I'm going to take page 1 and 2, and I'm going to measure them. I'm going to turn it this way so I can see. I just take my staple gun because it's something heavy, and just hold it so I can hold it up against there and get an accurate measurement. Then I take this and I just measure that, and that is close to 3/4 of an inch for. So I just put 0.75 for pages 1 and 2, because that's how much room I need to have. And then these are pages 2 and 3. 3 and 4, I'm sorry. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to put it up here, and then you're going to measure at the bottom. And this is an inch, so I just put a 1 right here, because I'm going to have to go back and use this when I get through measuring. So I just kind of keep going like this. These are pages 5 and 6. And I slide it up against this staple gun right here at the bottom. I hold it with my fingers at the top, and then I just measure again with the ruler. That's 0.75. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to do that, and then I'll get right back with you guys and share with you how I do my gusset for my binding. Okay, so I added up my pages, and I didn't add them up yet, I'm sorry. I'll just put the numbers on here. So that's what I had between 1 and 2 was 0.75, 3 and 4 was 1, 5 and 6 was 0.75, 7, 8 was 1, and 9 and 10 was 1. So what I'm going to do is just add these up on my calculator, and I'm just going to add them up. So 0.75 plus 1 plus 0.75 plus let me start over. Messed up, I'm sorry. 0.75, 1, 0.75, 1, 1. So I got 4.50. So that's the total that my binding will be on my chipboard. Let me add it one more time. 0.75, 1, 0.75, 1, 1. So it's 4.5. So my mini album will be 4.5 on this part right here across when I get ready to make it. So, and then these three numbers right here is what I'm going to use to do the inside of my mini album. And I'm going to go ahead and get that situated, and then I'll come out with you and show you how I do that. So I'll be right back. Okay, so you're going to start off with a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. You are going to measure your cardstock that's in the back, the tall part of it. And it is 8 1/4 inches tall. So that means that I need to cut my paper. I'm going to leave it 12 inches by 8 1/4. So I'm going to do that. Be right back. Okay, so I have my sheet of paper that is 8 1/4 because that's how tall my page is, and these are going to go on here. So it's 8 1/4 by 12. You put the 12-inch side in the top part of your score machine thing here, and you're going to score at 2 1/4, 2 3/4, 3 1/4, 4 1/4, 4 3/4, 5 1/4, 6, 6 1/2, 7, 8, 8 1/2, and 9. So you're going to score that in your scoreboard, and this is like 2 1/4. You'll score here, 2 3/4. You'll score here, and so on. I've already done mine. After you get through scoring it, then you're going to, every second score mark, which would be this one, I hope you guys can see it, it goes down, up, down. This one right here in the middle, which is your second one, you're going to fold it towards you. And you're going to go over here, and then the one that's where it goes like, where it's like 3 of them together, like 1, 2, and 3 score lines, you're going to do the middle one up. And you're going to take the next set where it's 1, 2, and 3. You're going to do the middle one up towards you. And the next set, 1, 2, and 3, the second one right here, you're going to do it up towards you. And then there's a next set that's 1, 2, and 3. You're going to do that one up towards you. After you get through doing that, it'll kind of look like that. You're going to turn it over, and the ones that are that has not been scored, you're going to do each one of them towards you. And so it's going to look like this when you get through. The second one that's in each group is going to be towards you. The other two will be pointing down. So that's how it looks. I hope that makes sense. Then you're going to turn it back over, and where the second one is pointing down, it's going to be down that way. Then you're going to take your score tape, and I just use a 1/4 score tape, and each one of these little gullies where it goes down towards the middle of that one, you're going to put your score tape. I'll show you how to do it. So you're just going to take your score tape. I do 2 rows. You're going to start right here at the edge. Don't get on your score line. I'm just going to go all the way across right there. All the way across. And then you're going to cut that off. And you're going to do the row right beside of it, the same row, because my score tape is too narrow. So you're going to just go down through there and do the same thing, just don't get on your score lines. And then you're going to cut that. You're going to push that down really good. And you're going to do that to each one. Where it goes down, you would do it on this row right here. This row right here, because it goes down. So you're going to do it here, then you're going to go over, then where it's down, you're going to do it on this row with your score tape. Then over here, where this one goes down, you're going to do it on this row. So I'm going to go ahead and do each row, and I'll be right back to share with you guys. Okay, so this is the top of my gussets. This is the top, this is the left side, this is the right, and down here is the bottom. When you turn it over, this is the way the score tape looks. So you are going to just take something and get your score tape off. I always start with the one that where it's closest to the middle where it was going down. I just start with that one and pull that up, and then pull the next one right there beside of it. And then I take it and I turn it back over, and where it's sticking up right there, that little peak, then you're going to push it down with your fingers. And that will be your first, well, that'll be your last one because I started on this side. But this will be your last, where your pages is going to go up right here on it. So you just start with the next one that's the closest to the peak. And you're going to just pull that up. And then you take the next one and pull that up. And then I turn it back over, and where it's, the little peak is, then I'm going to push that down. So I'm going to do that, and I will show you guys how it looks in just a second. Okay, so this is how it looks after you get your score tape off. You have all these little peaks. That's what you're going to attach your pages to. That's the back where the score tape was, and you glued it together. And that's the top. And just to give you an idea how this is going to look, this was my paper that had all my score measurements on it. So since this is the, I changed this to the first page too, I'm sorry, I meant to tell you guys. This was page 2, I changed it to page 1. And you can change these without any problem until you get them glued down. Of course, you can't change them after you glue them down. But this will be page 1, and I had a 0.75 between page 1 and 2. So this is page 1 and this is page 2. So you would leave a little bit of room. I just wanted to share with you how it'll look, just to give you a little bit of, you know, so you can kind of see how it'll look. So this is page 1. This is page 2. So it'll butt right up against this page like that. And then page 3 is here. It'll go right up on the other side of this little page. You'll put it here. And then you'll glue these two pages together like that. And then it's so on, you know, then this page will glue up against this one right here. It'll glue up against like that. And then 5 will get up against the back of that one. And so that's kind of how it works itself out. I hope that makes sense. But this is how your gusset should look right now. You would have 2 1/4 inches from this corner, from this edge, to your first gusset. And then your next gusset is point, let's see, I'm getting myself confused trying to tell you. This is 1 inch right here, because you're going to go right here for this. Then this gusset right here is 0.75. This is 1, and then right after this one you'll have another 1 when you put page 10 down, and 9 will be up against here. You'll have an inch gusset there too. So I hope I didn't confuse you, but this is how it should look. So I'm going to go ahead and get everything ready to do the front and back covers and the binding of it, and I'll be right back to share that with you guys. Okay, so we are getting ready to do our cover, the front and back cover of our mini album. So all you have to do is take 2 12 by 12 sheets of paper and put them together with some score tape. This right here, I just ran a little strip down it right here and put them together. And so this is what you have from that. I've already cut my heavyweight chipboard pieces. These measure 8.5 this way by 6.5. This one's 8.5 by 6.5, and then the one in the middle, I used this little sheet of paper that we did earlier, where I measured between each page. So this is 4.5 this way by 8.5 this way. I also use Tyvek to do my mini albums. So this is 1 inch by 8 1/4, because I don't want it to go all the way to the edge. I just want it to go from like here to like down here at the edge. So I have 2 pieces of those. You'll lay each one of those there. So I'm sorry for this squeaky chair too. So I'm just going to go ahead and get all this kind of laid out like I want it. And then I'm going to put my glue on it. For this right here, I use this Fabri-Tac glue. So I'm going to put that on there. And I just eyeball mine. You can measure it if that's what you would, really like to do or whatever. But I just kind of eyeball it and just trying to get it as straight as I can. You want it to be about the same distance as here, 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 and here. So just gonna lay that down there. I'm gonna just put this in the middle. I hope my head's not in the way. I'm sorry if it is, but I gotta see what I'm doing here. Slide this over just a little bit, and then we're gonna do this one the same way. Just a little bit. Okay. And then I do have a brayer. And I use this little tool right here, and I just push this down just to get the glue evenly distributed all around it. And then I turn it over, do this side as well. Okay. And then I'm going to do this little edge right here. That's kind of bothering me. I'll have to watch that. And then I'll just lay this here. Kind of see where I'm going to need it. And this one over here will go here. And so you're just going to put some glue on there. And I just put it like right here. You can use whatever glue you like. If you like score tape, then that's fine. But I just use this glue right here. It's pretty fast drying. And I really don't like to get it in the crease there, so I'm going to try to get that out of there if I can. And then you're just going to lay it up here. And just kind of center that, and then you can press that down. And this Tyvek, it's really good to keep your pages, for tearing in here after you use it for years to come. It's really good for that. That's why I like to, use it for that. And it really don't matter if any of the glue seeps out right there, because it's going to be covered up with paper and stuff like that. But you do want this kind of to lay down really good. Okay, after that, then you're just going to go in here and miter your corners right here on all four corners. I'll do that one with you guys so you can see how I do it. I just take my scissors and I just leave some space right here. I really don't measure or anything like that. but you can just kind of go up to it, and then you can, well, I'll get my scissors in here, and then you can go back around that way like that. That's just kind of the way I do it. So I'm going to do all 4 sides like that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got all my sides done. You can just take your paper and do it like this right here, just to get your paper, you know, where it will start being able to fold there. You can do both sides like that. Just slowly do it up like that. I'm just mashing this glue in here really good. And I might put a little bit of glue where that Tyvek is sticking out right there a little bit. Just put a little bit of glue in there. Okay, now I just take my bone folder and I just kind of go around these edges like this, just so my paper will know to fold there. So I'm just gonna go all the way around like right here. Then after that, I just kind of fold this up. You can also do it like this. You can hold your chipboard and just fold it up like that on the ends. You can do it like that too. And then you can just kind of take your bone folder and run it across right there. Just do it really careful so you don't tear your paper. And then I just like to do all of mine like that. And then I'll do this side. Oops, I'm sorry. Hit the camera. Sorry about that. And then you're just gonna run this down through here like that too. And you do want to push these in right here on these corners a little bit. And then we're just going to pull these in and glue them down. I'm just going to glue them down like that right there. I use the same glue, this Fabri-Tac glue. And I still try not to get it in my these little score marks right here and right here. I try not to get it there. Just put it close down to the chipboard and go back up to the top. And then I'm going to go over here and do this one. You do want to get it close to the edge, but not where it'll cause a problem there. And then you're just going to always do this again with my bone folder just to make sure that it's catching good up there. And then I start in the middle and I just pull it straight down and just push it out to the sides like that. So you're just going to kind of work it with your bone folder. Make sure that glue's in there really good. Get you a good crease across the top up there. You can use that if you want to. You can just use your bone folder, whatever you have. Got a little bit of glue right there, so you have to be careful. So I'm going to kind of just go around and do each side like that, because when I do it on these ends it's so tall it hits my camera. So I'm going to do each side like that, and I'll be back to share with you guys how mine looks. Also on these corners, you do want to mash this little piece down right here if you have some that's sticking out right there where your chipboard ends and your cardstock starts. You just want to mash that down so you'll have a nice corner on your chipboard when you get ready to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these two. I just glued this one and this one. I'm going to glue these two and I'll be right back. Okay, so after you get it folded, you just need to kind of carefully run over these little areas right here so you can mash this down. You want to make sure your glue is, you know, in there really good too. So you just want to mash this down. This one to buckle up a little bit right there. And then you're going to do the same thing for this side. Mash these down really good. I'm just going to push this up like that. So there is your paper. There's your little mini album cover. And so you're just going to let this dry for a little while, and then you can lay your binding up here. And you'll just get it, make sure you get it straight, and then you'll take your little measurements that you have. I'm gonna let this dry for a few minutes, but I was just gonna tell you what you can do. This one is 0.75 between the first and last gusset, so you could take your ruler and you can find where your crease is, and it's right here. I don't know if you really can see that too good or not. Let me zoom in a little bit. I'm going to slide this up. Anyway, your page where it's going to bend is right here. Okay, on both sides. So you want to lay this up here. Like I said, you're going to get it straight and everything. And you'll measure from right here to right here. And you want it to be about 0.75 or 3/4. You want it to be this right here. From here to here. So you just take your ruler and lay it up here. And right there is 3/4. So you would want to slide this over just a little bit. Because from here to here is 3/4. So that's where your first one would be. And then you would hope on this one over here, which is going to be our last page, from this right here to this one should be 1 inch if you measured it right. And it is. It's right on 1 inch right there, from there to there. So it looks like it's going to be right, but like I said, I'm going to let this dry really good right here. This little place that's kind of wanting to buck up, that's going to be covered up anyway with this, so you won't see it, but I just want it to be nice and flat right there. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of time and work with it a little bit, make sure the glue's in there good, and let it dry good. And then I'm going to take this and lay it down like I showed you, and I'll kind of go over that with you guys. So I'll be right back in just a few minutes. Okay, so it's been a little bit now, so I'm going to lay my gussets down. This is the top, excuse me, this is the left, this is the right, and this is the bottom. So I want to make sure I have all that right before I glue it in. And the way I like to do it is I just kind of like to lay it up here, make sure it's good and straight. Measure my little place right here, it's supposed to be 0.75 like I said. So you want to measure from here where your book bends to your first gusset, and you want it to be 3/4. So right there is going to be 3/4. So that's where you want it to be. And you're going to hold this one down, and you're going to measure from this gusset right here. It should be a 1 inch. So you're going to say from here to here's 1, and it is right there. So right there is where you want it, but you want to make sure that it is straight across the top and the bottom, and make sure you have the same amount of room as you do from the top and the bottom. And I think I do right there. Let me redo it because I moved it. So right there is good. So I just take a pencil and I just mark it like from here to here. and from here to here. Don't go all the way to the top, or don't go all the way to the bottom, or you'll be able to see that. So you just want to go just a little ways on both sides so you'll know where to lay that, because you're going to put glue on the back of here. And you want to layer a good bit of glue on here, because this is going to be what holds your pages in. So you do want to put a good bit of glue on here. You don't want to put it too close to the edge, you know. You can put it at the edge, but not over the edge. You don't want the glue to seep out everywhere. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to take this over, turn it back over, find your little lines there, and just lay it back in them. Now with this type of glue, you do have a few minutes to make sure it's straight. Make sure it's where you want it. So I'm going to measure. Make sure that's 1/4 of an inch, and it is. Make sure that's 1 inch, and it is. And then I'm just going to lay this down. I'm going to press it down really good. And I'm just going to make sure it's straight. So I'm going to hold it up because I can't see it laying down. When it's laying down, and I just kind of pull it out too. That looks pretty good right there. So I just work it with my fingers, just a good little bit like this. And I also take clothespins. I have a bunch of these little clothespins like this right here. And I just, after I get through working it with my fingers pretty good, then I will take that and I'll just put it like right here, and then I'm going to put another one here and here, and I just kind of go around the edges of it with my clothespins and just kind of let that sit for a few minutes too. So I'm just going to go ahead and put all these on there just like that, and just kind of keep working it with your fingers and making sure that it's in there really good, and spreading that glue out really good. And I just kind of keep doing it like that for a little bit, and I'll be right back to share with you the next step. Okay, so I went ahead and got this in here, and it's good and dry, and you want to go ahead and fold your pages up so your little creases, your score marks, you know, you can get those in there. If you do it slow like you did the first time, you just want to put it in here really slow and put your pages up like that. And then you're going to just touch them and make sure they stand up. And it's kind of going to be tight. Where you have that glue in there, it's going to be tight. But that's the way you want it. You want it to be good and tight like that. And so it'll be ready for your pages. So the next step, after this is really good and dry, you want, like I said, you want to make sure everything's good and dry. You're going to take your page 1, which is this one. And I think I had this one originally as page 2, but I changed it back to page 1. So you're going to take this one and you're going to place it like right in here. You don't want to get on this score line right here, or your book won't bend. So you want to make sure you stay over like that. And then I just bend these over like that. And then your page 2, which was, sorry, I got the wrong one. Your page 2, which was page, I can't tell what I had. I think I had a 1 there. But anyway, it looks like this one. You're going to put it right here. And that's how you will start your book. You don't want to slide this all the way down to this score mark. You just want to put it close, so your pages will bend really easy. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one with you guys, which is pretty simple. It's just mostly just putting it down. You put your glue all the way to the edge. Not all the way to the edge, but close. And then you're just going to cover it really good. You want it to stay down. And then you're just going to line it up. Make sure you do not get on your score mark. And with this glue, you have time to move it a little bit if you need to. That's why I like to use it, because I'm not perfect by no means. And I don't get my stuff straight the first time. But after you get it like you want it, then you're just going to push this down. And this glue does dry pretty fast. So you do have a few minutes to move it, but it does dry fast too. So that's another good thing I really, really like about it. And so then your page 2, you're going to do it a little differently. I always turn my book like this. It's just easier for me to do it like this. Let me slide this stuff over. And you always want to make sure you're putting it in the right way. You don't want to put it in this way, because obviously it goes that way. So you want to put it in, make sure you always have it in the right way. And you're just going to lay it on this little lip right here that we made. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay. You're just going to put a little bit of glue at the top. Don't put it down towards the bottom. Put it at the top, all the way across right here, because it can run down in there. So you just want to put just a little string of glue there. And I got it off the edge. I'm sorry, I'm not very good at tutorials. It's hard for me to see what I'm doing because I'm so far away from it. I don't want to get my head in the way. But you're going to take your page 2 and you're just going to lay it on there. Like I said, don't go all the way to the bottom. And then I just take these clothespins when I get it right where I want it. And then I just pin it on there. And that's kind of the way I do it, like that. And then you're going to just take it, turn it back around, and where this hasn't adhered yet, you're going to just push it down and hold it like that. And you do have to hold this for a few minutes. Make sure everything's in the right place, that you're not all the way down over here, that you're not on your score mark, on your score mark. Just want to make sure everything is in the right place before, because this right here will glue pretty fast. You do have, like I said, a few minutes to move it around, but not for a long time. Alright, and then this one right here is your page 3, and what you would do to it after this dries, it's not ready yet. I'll turn my book back around, and then you're going to put glue all over the back of this. Then you're going to lay it up here with this one, and then you're going to glue it down. And if you have this one in the right place on here, this will fit perfectly behind it. So that's why you have to make sure that you have everything right before you let that glue set up. And it doesn't take long, maybe just a few minutes. It should be dry enough now. So I'm just going to leave that right there for a minute. I'm going to put glue all over the back of this one, so you can see how we do that. And then I'll go ahead and glue all the rest of them in, and I'll come back after that, but I'll get this one in there glued in so you can see exactly how I do it. Like I said before, you want to make sure that you have it facing the right way, which will be like that, because that's the way these are. You're going to turn your book around. Or take your clothespins off. I'll lay this up here and mount it on that page just where it's supposed to be. And I always take my clothespins and put them back, just so it'll help me hold it before it slides, because like I said, this glue will move for a little bit at first. But after you get it where you want it, then you can, it'll be, good to go or whatever. And so then I just mash them together with my hands. I have some more clothespins that I usually put at the top, but I don't have them all out right yet. So you can put them up here like that, just to get it hold really good. You just want to make sure it's holding. You do need to mash kind of down at the bottom, because there's not going to be anything there to help hold that closed. And then I'm just gonna put as many of them there as I want to put there to hold it. And just keep holding it. So I'm going to do that for each page, because if I share it with you guys, it's going to take forever. But I do each page like that. The next page, you're just going to put a little bit of glue across the top of this one. And let's see, that's page 1, 2, 3. So I am looking for page 4. So you would just put a little bit of glue across the top piece on this flap. You would just lay it right here. And then after that dries, you would push this against it, just like I did on the first one. After that dries, then you would take page 5 and put it, glue all over the back of this one, and then put it back up against this one. And you do like that all the way through the whole mini album. So I'm going to do that, and then I will be right back in a little bit to share with you guys how it looks. Okay, so I got all of my pages in my book, and I just wanted to share with you guys how it looks so far. I haven't done anything to the front or the sides or the back. But this is the way it looks from the top. It closes really good on the side, the bottom. When you open it up, it opens like this. And you can probably hear my little dog over here scratching. This is your first page. And then you have your pocket page here with the pretty flowers. I might put something here. I hadn't decided. It just looks a little plain right there for me. So I might put something there. And you open it here. And that's that page. Just have those tags there. This flips up. You have this with your pocket page. I mean your pockets in here. Photo mats. And that opens back. And then you open it this way. These two pages were the same. And you see how the flowers are offsetting. These are up, these are down. And these really doesn't matter, but these are up higher than these. So when they close, they don't touch. And then if they do, they'll just wear out, you know, they could go back and forth and pull each other off, is what I'm saying. And these right here, they close like that. So you have these higher. So that's just some things to keep in mind when you're putting flowers and stuff like that on there. If you can help it, you don't want them to hit when they're closed, because they can pull each other off, if that makes any sense. Like I said, these right here is your pocket page. This one flips up and down. But like I said, you want to make sure that your flowers or whatever you embellish with don't touch if possible. And then there's that page. That's your waterfall page there. So that's just kind of how it looks so far. I just wanted to share that with you guys so you could see. I'm going to go ahead and figure out something to do on the front. This is the spine here, and then the back. I don't know what I'm going to put there. I don't even know which papers I'm going to use. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be back with you guys to share how that looks. So here's how it turned out after I embellished it. You can see it has some flowers. I think these will go with the Santa Baby and that paper collection. But I thought it went really well with this paper collection as well. So I used it here. I just did some more of that trim back here in the back. Some more beads. And a bow. Like I said, these flowers are from that Baby Santa or Santa Baby collection. This is a Renee Bouquet's butterfly. And also these glass glitter is from her shop too. It's really pretty and sparkly. This is a Prima frame, and then this right here is some beads I laid in there. Has some more flowers here and some more little trims, beads. Some more of the applique there. On the side I ended up putting a bow, just a die cut bow right here. And then the back of it is just plain. I thought the paper was so pretty. I didn't want to cover that up. And then when you open it up, I think I've already showed on the inside. I did change this right here. I just cut this out of the paper collection, fuzzy cut it. And I made a little tag that goes in there. It's a punch that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. And just tied a little lace bow on there. And then on this page right here, I did add a little envelope with some Velcro But you can tuck something down in there. And then I used another tag die that goes there, and you can just stick something down in there. You can journal on it. You can even put a small picture on that if you wanted to. But the rest of it I think is the same. I didn't change anything else. All the rest of it is the same. So I hope you guys like it, and I hope you'll give it a try. I hope the tutorial was good enough for you to be able to understand what's going on with it. Like I said, I'm not really that good at tutorials, but I do try. And thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.